Good morning and welcome to the free tarot reading for the week. Today, Miss D has reached out via WhatsApp and she has asked for a reading. So I have been called to give this reading as a free reading. And so, of course, names and circumstances will be kept confidential and anonymous. So we will talk to Miss D, and the cards have already been shuffled. We're going to use 3 packs today. We're going to start with an angel pack to see which guardian angel is with us as we do the reading. We will then do an archetypal reading, and we will do a general moving forward reading using the Psychic Tarot. So here, I'm just giving a quick shuffle to the angel pack. And the angel that is with us for this reading is the angel of serenity. I feel serene and tranquil when I accept who I am. And that, I think, is an important message for Miss D, that no matter how many dualities we have inside us, no matter how many flaws we feel we have, no matter how many fractures we feel within our hearts and our souls, at the end of the day, they are all part of what makes us complex human beings. And the way to peace, the way to inner peace, and of course it is through inner peace that we find outer peace, peace in our outside world. It is to accept that we are both light and dark. We are both flawed and perfect. We are what we are. And the key to a peaceful, harmonious existence is to find the serenity to totally accept who we are in all our complexities. So that is the guardian angel that is with us during this reading. I'm going to put her over there by the ibis feather, the sacred ibis feather. So the guardian angel of serenity, an angel who guides us to accept who we are with peace and tranquility, is watching over us during this reading. I'm now going to use a fairly new pack. I've only been using it for a couple of weeks, so I may stumble a bit, but it is an extremely powerful and intense pack. It is the Wild Unknown Archetype pack, which is a beautiful pack which takes us very, very deep. It's fairly difficult to shuffle, so I did shuffle it off camera before I started the reading. And I'm going to use this to do the call of the ego spread. And we look at what the ego is calling to us to do. I'm going to look at what the soul is calling us to do. And then I'm going to draw a card that will give us guidance on how to find a bridge between the two. So, in effect, a lot of what our trouble, when we're going through difficult times, there is conflict between our souls and our egos. And sometimes, especially with this very intense Wild Unknown Archetype card, it's very useful to find out where we're operating in ego, where we need to operate in spirit, and how we can bridge the gap between the two. So let's cut the pack. And this is the call of the ego. Gnosis. It's about knowing. It is about wanting to know everything all the time. This is in the position of the ego over there. And Gnosis is about knowledge. It's about the search for knowledge. But sometimes in life, we have to just accept that there aren't answers to things. We have to understand that there is a mystery to things that happen to us. It is part of our soul's evolutionary process. It is part of the experiences that our soul has chosen to undergo. And if you continue to search for answers, you will drive yourself batty. It is important to understand that sometimes gnosis is found by simply accepting that there are no answers, that the situation will forever be a mystery. And it is simply a case of letting go and stop scratching the wound. And that is in the ego position. So it is the ego that drives the need for knowledge. It's the ego that says, I want to know the answers. Why did this happen? Why is this happening to me? I've done everything that I should do, but why is this still happening to me? Sometimes there is no answer, and it is only the ego that wants to know the answer. So we need to put the ego aside, and we then need to look at the call of the soul. And the call of the soul is the lover. What a beautiful, beautiful card to draw in the soul position, because of course the swan is a representative of finding a soulmate. It is representative of eternal love, because souls mate for life. They are monogamous. They grieve when their partners die. And the swan, of course, is all about accepting the grace and the beauty that we carry within us. We all know the story of the ugly duckling, and I think it's important for Miss D to realize that, thinking back to the Angel of Serenity, about accepting everything that we are and being serene and tranquil when we accept ourselves in all our shades, our dark and our light. That is what this lover card is all about. The swan is bringing us the message that we may see ourselves as ugly, but it is, we will develop into that swan. We are the swan. We are a swan in making. The evolution of the soul is not a quick and easy process. It is a hard, challenging, lifelong journey. And it is important to recognize the grace and beauty that we carry within us, even in our flawed state of human imperfection. And as I said in the beginning, the lover, of course, also indicates the search for a soulmate. And there is obviously a cry from the soul here, needing to find a soulmate. But we can only find a soulmate when we have learnt to accept and love ourselves in all our imperfections and in all our grace and inner beauty. So that is the call of the soul. So the ego is saying, I want to know why these things happen to me, but we actually need to let the ego go and not search for answers, just accept the mystery of life. And the call of the soul is saying, I want to find my other half, I want to find my soulmate. But the soulmate that lives, that we are connected to the most, is of course our own soul. So we need to learn to love our own soul and to accept the grace and beauty within us, within ourselves. And it is at that point that we will then find our soulmate in the outer world. And how do we bring these two disparate energies together? We have to look for a bridge. So this is the bridge card, the healer. So there are some deep, deep wounds here that Miss D needs to work on, she needs to work through, she needs to face what those wounds are. Perhaps they're ancestral wounds, perhaps they're personal karma, perhaps they are racial wounds, karma. But whatever the wounds are, and however Miss D faces them, the bottom line is there is a call to be healed, because it is through healing those old wounds. And of course, when we look at ancestral karma, we need to look at our childhood. We need to look at what were the wounds from our childhood, how are we playing them out, are we perpetuating the patterns either from our maternal ancestry line or from our paternal ancestry line. Look at the relationship with both parents, try and understand how we are continuing those patterns. What habits and patterns are we carrying forward as wounds which are not our wounds to carry. And once that healing energy has come in and Miss D has opened herself up to letting go and accepting the grace and beauty within herself, then the healing will occur and the knowing will become irrelevant, and the soulmate will, I won't say become irrelevant, but it will become a blessing rather than a drive, rather than an anxious, terrible drive to find someone outside herself to complete herself. So, as I said, these are extremely powerful cards, and I get a real, I was getting the chills as I was talking through this reading. So I think it is quite an intense reading and quite accurate for the situation at the moment. So we thank the Angel of Serenity, because clearly that was the message that needed to come through. So now I'm going to do a moving forward reading. And we will look at this pack, which is the lovely John Holland. Oops, some of those cards are the wrong way around. Let me just, yep, everything's the right way around now. I must have packed them away incorrectly when I packed them away last night. I did some work from home last night. So we're just going to give this a quick shuffle, and we're going to give it a quick riffle. And then I'm going to look at moving forward. How can Miss D move forward from the relationship pain and sorrow that she's experiencing? How can she move forward, let go the ego, the call of the ego, which is pushing her to be desperate to know why certain things happened as they did, and move her across the healing bridge to the call of the soul, where there is an acceptance of all the grace and beauty inside her soul. And of course, once that has been accepted, she will feel tranquil and serene, and that calmer energy, that energy that is not so anxious about finding a soulmate, will then manifest in the outside world and hopefully bring forward a happy ending. So this is a 7-card spread. I hope I'm going to fit them all in. Let's try. So this is what has to, I'm going to lay all the cards out, and then we will have a look at the cards in general. So this is what has to be let go. The desire for new beginnings. Bit of a strange card to have in the letting go position. But we'll see what the other cards bring up. And we will then see how that fits in better. So this is the card that Miss D must open herself up to in the future. Firm foundation. Yes, I think I see why the new beginning card came up in the letting go position. Just briefly, new beginnings require a lot of flitting around, a lot of rushing, a lot of excitement. It's all new things. It's a big new adventure. And you can actually almost constantly create new beginnings, because then when things don't work out, you just let go and you create a new beginning. But new beginnings, you know, it's like planting seeds, and then when they don't grow immediately, you run off and you plant a new seed, and then you leave the old seed behind. But there has to be an opening up to staying put in one place, to stop running away, to build a firm foundation, so that, because it is only on firm foundations that you can actually make lasting structures with your life. You have to let go the past. You make new beginnings. New beginnings are a wonderful way to cut ties with the past, but you can't constantly make new beginnings without actually standing firm and working on building a foundation that will allow you to build something that is lasting and enduring. So that second card made sense of the first card. Now, in the next about year to 18 months, what Miss D, the opportunities that are going to present themselves are, okay, there's some chakra work that needs to be done, and this is very interesting. It's the base chakra, it's the root chakra. This is the chakra that anchors you to the earth. This is the chakra that provides you with a sense of security. It's a chakra that's, when it's grounded and properly working, it allows you to manifest money. It allows you to manifest firm foundations. So before Miss D can open up to the opportunities, there is some work that needs to be done on rooting herself and grounding herself in one position, which ties in very nicely with the firm foundation card, because there is a need here to stop the constant looking for the new, the constant beginning new things and thinking that magically they will happen. There is a need to stay put in one place, tough it out. When the going gets tough, you dig in your heels and you just push through and build a firm foundation. And the way you do that is by working on the base chakra. So, this goes back to childhood. There's usually a need to find out what insecurities there were in childhood, what traumas were there in childhood that created a feeling of insecurity that doesn't allow this base chakra to work properly. So once some base chakra work has been done, the opportunities that will come in, oh, wow, what a wonderful card, triumphant success. But this success is absolutely dependent on healing the base chakra, which allows firm foundations to be built out of the new beginnings that have already begun. So the new beginnings, there's no need to go looking for new beginnings. It's now a case of building on whatever new beginnings have been started. And if there can be that, that firm foundation, if there can be the will, if I can put it that way, the drive to create a firm foundation, to stick through the challenges rather than going and looking for another new beginning and another new beginning, then the base chakra, those insecurities that reside in the traumas to the base chakra, can be replaced with a sense of rootedness, a sense of groundedness, a sense of belonging. And once that is achieved, there is the huge opportunity for triumphant success. But the key challenges in the next year to 18 months for Miss D will be the world. This card is a card of completion. It is the card of oneness. It's in the challenge position. So this suggests that there are certain issues that need completion. And I think this takes us back to the archetype cards, the call of the ego, which was the desire for gnosis, the desire for knowing why certain things happened. Closure is not going to be found. Completion is not going to be found searching for answers. It is a case of having to let go that desperate need to know why things happened as they did, what went wrong, what should I have done, why did it happen to me. Those questions can never be answered. Sometimes there is no answer. It just is what it is, because that's the path that the soul chose for evolution. And that is going to be the challenge for the next year to 18 months. To complete the issue, to complete the cycle, to complete the old without needing to know the answers. And that desperate desire, I'm going to move these so that all the cards are in the picture. I'm going to need to get a wide angle lens one of these days. Okay, so moving forward, you need to let go the desire for new beginnings. The new beginnings have already been planted, they've already started. It is now time to build firm foundations so that those new beginnings can grow into something enduring and long-lasting. There is base chakra work on feeling secure, work on feeling grounded that needs to be done. Doing that work will lead to a triumphant success, but the challenge of the situation will be to let go the need for a baboom type of completion. Things have ended, and it is now time to move on and to let go and to move forward without necessarily knowing all the whys and wherefores and ins and outs of the old situation. It is now time to concentrate on building a firm foundation for the new beginnings that were started. We're now going to move on to the next layer of this reading, and that is we are going to look at the deepest fear in this situation. Yeah, always a challenge in starting something new. There is a deep fear of financial and material changes. And this is a physical card, so this is definitely lots of fear around finances, a lot of fear around material security, about the changes that have happened. And there is that is the deepest fear, and I think that is a fear that needs to be faced. That sometimes when you take that leap off the cliff and you start something new, there is going to be financial and material challenges and changes. But in this particular reading, that opportunity card does bring in the triumphant success. So I think the deepest fear here needs to be balanced with an understanding that the greater the risk, the greater the reward. And if things can just be let go and the completion can be found, there is a huge opportunity for triumphant success. And now, the wisdom that is going to be learned during this path that lies ahead is that there always comes a time that you've got to stop doing. You've just got to be. You've got to rest and rejuvenate, because sometimes we get trapped on this hamster wheel of life and we just go round and round and round. And of course, if there's been too many new beginnings, if you're rushing around, running away, starting a new beginning here, starting a new beginning there, starting a new beginning there, and nothing ever comes of it, it's just a depletion of energy, because you're giving out without getting back, without building a firm foundation. And the rest and rejuvenate card is the kind of wisdom that you're going to need to absorb, you're going to need to embrace, and you're going to need to take time out to just allow your soul and your emotions and your heart to rest, rejuvenate, recover, and rebuild, so that you have the strength to build that firm foundation, to work on those insecurities in the base chakras, to allow yourself to get completion and move forward to triumphant success. And the final card in this reading is the key theme, the key element that overarches the whole. It's sort of like an underlying energy. It arches over this whole reading, and it influences each of the cards, and that is passion ignited. So that's very nice, because it's all about the heart energy. When we've got passion, when our passion is ignited, we can achieve miracles. But if you're exhausted from a very trying, challenging time in your life, and these issues that need completion will have drained the energy, and this constant running around trying to find that call of the ego, that gnosis, that constant running around trying to find answers is a negative, unrewarding energy that has been given out. And instead of spending time on new passions, building a firm foundation, using the energy and strength to build on what has been started, this passion is being ignited on something that is dead, that is gone, that needs to be buried and let go. And that is the overarching energy throughout this reading. And it is that will inflame, enrich, and give the power to go forward and find that triumphant success. So, that was a really interesting reading, and I found it fascinating how all three packs, and this is the beauty of the cards, all three packs linked with a similar message. And we're just going to do a final closing. We're going to use the Healing Angel cards, and we are going to draw a message for Miss D, a final closing message. And let me just... Right. Archangel Raphael, feel yourself surrounded by my emerald green light. I, Archangel Raphael, offer you healing and solace. The storm clouds will soon clear, and the sun will shine eternally bright. Trust. That is a beautiful message to end this reading on. And I wish Miss D much love, many blessings, and a beautiful year ahead of healing, of letting go, and of building a beautiful new life that will be a triumphant success.